So that's a bit of my craziness. I've done some pretty wild things. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. So I've gone, well, this is a picture of some of me and my friends. We went snowboarding. I don't have any action shots because I don't have my other hard drive here with my pictures on it, but that's one. As you see, my little friends compared to me, I had the biggest snowboard that they had. So fun. And soccer, football. That's my brother and his fiance. She has blonde hair in this picture now, but this was from this past summer when the Netherlands was playing. So I have my jersey, he has his jersey, so we cheer on both sides of the ocean. And then this is me hanging out, and what's on the other side of the camera? Anybody want to guess? Boom, there it is. That's a great white shark. I went shark cage diving in South Africa last year when I went. So if I had any moment where I've ever been scared, even way past skydiving. What's funny, when I went skydiving, the guy that I jumped with, you have to jump tandem when you jump by yourself for the very first time. The guy was like, you know what? You have to be the most calm person that I've ever jumped with. Because I was literally like, man, I'm so excited to do this, but it's just like, I just had this calm over me, and I don't really get nervous about things, unlike being nervous tonight to talk in front of y'all. But I remember the only thing that caused me to be nervous was I looked down as I was sitting on the edge of the plane to jump out, and I looked down at my right shoe and it was untied. And the first thing that I thought about was, I was like, man, I'm gonna lose my shoe. And I wanted to reach down and tie it, but I couldn't, because if I reached down, then we would fall out of the plane. So just like whatever. I didn't lose my shoe though. So another funny thing about when we landed, the guy that jumped with me, he's probably like this tall, and he was like, you have to keep your legs up when we land, otherwise you will hurt yourself. So I was like, okay. So shark cage diving. I was the first person in the cage because they asked for volunteers. So I was like, oh, why not? I'll go first. So I jumped in, and like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm in the water by myself, and there's like big sharks going around. There were 7 great whites like circling the boat. And the first thing he said to me, he was like, as soon as I jumped in, I got my goggles on, he's like, down and to the left, down and to the left. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? He's like, go underwater. So I get down, and then all of a sudden you just see this huge shark just like swim by. And it just totally freaked me out a little bit, but it was an amazing experience. I got to be in the cage for 30 minutes and just sit and watch the sharks. It was amazing. And to take pictures, to be able to take pictures of them and see these huge man-eaters like in front of your face is just wild. And the people that got in after me, there was a girl that was from Ethiopia, and I'll never forget, she got in the cage and she just screamed like, get me out of here. Like, it was crazy. So, all right, so more of my passion. I'm a certified spin instructor, and this is like totally me. If I could be on a bike in the middle of the night sleeping, I probably would be. If y'all have ever seen me upstairs, there's 2 spin bikes here. There's one upstairs, and then there's one in Kulshi 1, and I'm always on the bike, always. I've had 4 surgeries on joints. I've played sports my whole life, and so I've had shoulder surgery, knee surgery, ankle surgery, ankle surgery. So I've had half of my body worked on and working up the other side now. So hopefully I won't have any more, but my doctor told me I can no longer run because I used to run. So now I just ride the bike. This is a spin convention that I went to last year, or actually this year. It was in May. And so there's crazy people just like me that like to ride bikes just like I do. So, and then of course, if you take my Zumba class, this is some of my Zumba people. And the girl that I'm holding, that's my friend Danielle. She's from Lebanon, and we actually co-teach Zumba together. So she's one of my really good friends, but it's a really fun class. And this is something that I did for the first time. You know how everybody has New Year's resolutions? Yes? So my challenge for myself this past year was to enter into a figure competition. So that's me, second to the right. This is pretty much bodybuilding. And so I spent from January all the way until April working to do this competition. And I didn't place, but as you can see, I'm taller than all of the other girls. I'm in the tallest height class that they have. But what makes it difficult for me to even place in a competition is that I'm so tall, it's hard for muscles to bulk on me to get bigger because my muscles are already long and lean. So girls that are shorter have an easier time building muscle. So I hope that next year at some point in time I can do this again and see if I end up in a better spot. But there's more. That's my teammate Shayla. And then that brings me to Bangladesh. So, growing up in a multicultural and multilingual, my dad speaks Dutch and English, my mom speaks French and English, I speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese, and none of us can talk to each other except in English. But they've given me an appreciation for everything. Music, I love music. I played cello when I was in middle school, so I love classical music. I love to salsa. If you come to dance club some night, and I'll teach salsa, I'll teach hip hop. I have an appreciation for so many different things. So how I ended up here was I quit my corporate job in Atlanta. It was getting to the point where people were talking about money, and I'm not a money-driven person. And everybody's like, oh, but it's good to have money. You can do things with money, but money doesn't buy happiness. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. If anything, it just causes you to stress about having money. And I felt like that's what was happening to my life. And I wanted to do something a little bit more fulfilling. And being able to come here and interact with you all makes my heart happy. So that is the reason why I took this job. And the other reason is because of working in sports, which is a male-dominated field. I couldn't think of a better way to talk to you all and empower you all and tell you that you can do it. Because I've worked in sports for the past 10 years, and I'm a female. And whatever you want to do, whatever field you want to work in, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't just because you're female or you're this or you're that, you're Hindu or you're Muslim. Don't let somebody tell you that you can't do anything, because it's not true. I have enjoyed my time here. I've tried to take in as much as I can, dressing in salwar kameez and sharis and getting, is it Mendi? Yeah. Yes. Have my henna tattoos and all the other stuff. So, and that's it.
So does anyone have any questions?
Don't be shy. You can ask anything you want. I'm an open book.
I heard like you're going to go to Nepal. So
Yes.
Are you going to try bungee jump?
I am debating between bungee jumping and paragliding.
You try both.
We'll see. Anybody else? John?
So you mentioned your height
Mm-hmm.
in that, but can you go a bit like deeper into what that's meant for you, like in terms of?
Oh gosh. Okay, so how tall are you?
5.3.
I was Kanchana's height in 3rd grade. So stand up real quick.
Seriously?
Yes. So do you see how tall she is? This is how tall I was when I was in 3rd grade. And so I've always been much taller than everybody. You know, like if you take school pictures, like with a class, and they always say the tallest back in the center, I've always been in the back, always been in the center. Even when I was in high school, I was with all of the guys on the back row, the whole basketball team. So I've been made fun of all of my life. People talking about, you know, when you go through growth spurts and like my pants were too short, and people would say, "Oh, are you preparing for a flood because my pants were too short?" My mom had to buy shoes for me probably every 6 months because my feet grew that fast. I got called Jolly Green Giant, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. I mean, kids can be cruel. They really can. And I mean, there were times when I went home and I cried because I mean, there was only one other girl when I was in high school that was the same height as me, but we both had the same issue. Like we were both very tall, and you just kind of learn to deal with it. And you know, if people come and ask me, you know, now especially, "Oh, do you play basketball?" And I'll look at them and say, "Do you play miniature golf?" just turning it around, making it funny, and you have to just kind of like take it all in stride, just kind of just roll with everything, because people are always going to be judgmental, always. So, you know, this is me. I can't change. I can't cut off myself at my knees and be short. And I think the biggest challenge being tall, I know this is going to sound really funny. I'm going to say it's dating. Guys tend to be intimidated by my height. But those are guys who don't have self-confidence, I will say that. I was engaged when I was 23 years old, but I decided not to get married. And he was actually shorter than me. John, how tall are you? Are you about 5'11"? Okay, so he is about John's height. So I mean, like he was like right here, something like that. So I mean, but like we got along super great, super awesome. It's just that we just split amicably and decided that we weren't going to get married. But it's just funny because most of the guys that try and talk to me are like, "It's tall." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." Not gonna happen. The other thing that's difficult, which I love about living here, is that I can have my clothes made. Buying stuff in the States, and it's funny because you would think like, "Oh, it's the United States, y'all have everything." I run into the same problems all over the world. It's hard for me to find shoes, hard for me to find pants, shirts that don't come like right here. It was funny, I was in Agrabah a couple weeks ago and I wanted to buy a winter coat because I didn't bring any winter clothes with me. And I tried on a jacket, and literally, it was a heavy winter coat, and literally the sleeves came like right here. And I looked at the guy and I said, no, it's not gonna work. And so he was like, "Oh, I'll get you bigger size." And I was like, "No, because then it's gonna be too big in here." But he handed me the bigger jacket. And then like the sleeves were still in the same place. He's like, "No, it looks good, 3/4 sleeve." I was like, "No." I was like, "It's a winter coat, it's supposed to be long sleeves." So, I don't know, it's just funny, and living here has been interesting because everybody stares. I mean, I get stared at in the United States because I'm tall, but I mean, it's different because like people will be like, "Oh, you're tall, you know, did you play basketball, did you play volleyball, were you a swimmer?" And that's when the whole miniature golf comes in. But here, it's like people are just like... And I'll tell you another funny story. When I was in college, I worked at Old Navy. It's a store like The Gap, or it's a clothing store. And I remember this little kid, he was probably like this tall, like a little toddler, 2 or 3 years old. He was running around, and I was walking back to the fitting room, which is through the kids section. And so he comes barreling around the corner, and he runs right smack dab into my knee and just falls back. And all of a sudden he's just like, and so I pick him up, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." His mom's coming around the corner like, "What'd you do to my son?" I'm like, "He ran into my knee." So, I don't know. Funny things like that happen, but you just kind of live with it. I do wear heels. If you have any questions about that, I do wear heels. So I end up being more like this when If y'all saw me wear the sari last week, I had heels on, so I do wear them. Not very often, but I do. So. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are you still in touch with Misha?
Yes, I am. We keep in touch on Facebook. On Facebook. And pretty much every single picture that I take with him, I tag him in the picture so he sees where he's at. So, and he knows that he's in Bangladesh right now. So, this little dude is my buddy. He goes everywhere. So.
I have a question. Have you made that connection, that emotional connection with anyone in AUW?
Maybe one person. And are you referring to a student or a staff person? Yeah. Yes, I would say yes. So, any other questions?
And how long will you stay in Bangladesh?
I am actually, and I know y'all are all going to be sad now, I am leaving at the end of the semester. I have a job offer, and it's a really good one, and it is really difficult for me to figure out. Pardon?
But I want to learn some dance steps.
Hey, you still have 3 weeks. I have dance club every Monday, and we have Zumba every Monday and Wednesday, and that means y'all can get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and come to class. Any other questions?
Your message to your students, I mean, the all your students, your message.
My message to students. I would say kind of what I closed with when I was done with the PowerPoint is that you can do anything. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Because you're too tall or too small, or you can't do this because of this, or you can't do this because of that. I mean, I was always told that, I'll give you an example. And granted, I didn't do this, but now I have the opportunity to do it. When I was 19 years old, and I was in college, I was a sophomore, UG2, I had the opportunity to go to a modeling agency. And I did my portrait pictures with them and everything, and they were like, okay, and then 2 weeks later they called me and they were like, well, you're really great, but you're too tall. And I mean, like that, they were like, everything else is great, but you're just too tall, we can't do anything. But now, like after doing the figure competition, I've been asked if I could be a fitness model. So, I mean, it's just one of those things about like turning something that's a negative, turning it into a positive.
No more questions? Last chance.
Yes,
Say again?
very sad. You're going to be sad.
Because I know the personally, I don't know how long I have been with this great personality. Just I made very short time period. She took my heart very, very fast. I was like, just one morning I ran to office and I cried because something happened. And the best advice I got in my life was she said, "You're so blessed and don't think you can do anything. You can do everything you want." And that was like, okay, you just hold me and I felt like, okay, Kancha, you are still able to do things, and I felt so good. And I know it really, she's amazing.
Now that made me cry, stop it. I will say this, I will forever remember this place. Forever, because y'all touched me. Not literally, but right in here and up here. And I hope that you all will remember what I've said today, at least one little piece of it, and take that with you. And there's always Facebook. or maybe Facebook. So y'all keep in touch. Yes? All right. So, any last questions? Going once. Going twice. So, y'all come to Zumba Monday, Wednesday, 8 a.m. Or you come to dance club, because I see a lot of dance club members in here. Come on Monday at 4:30. Come to class, come dance. Have fun. We can be goofy. You can ask anybody in here that comes to class. Do we have a good time?
Yes.
Do we have fun? Okay. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much.